Welcome back to Creative Thinkers. My name is Miguel Valenzuela, and as always, we bring you a very special guest. Today, we bring you Matt Adams, and he owns Matt's Personal Training and Wellness Center, and we're going to find out exactly what that is. Matt, welcome.
Welcome. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you again, actually.
Yes, see me again because we have actually known each other for like 35 years or something like that. Easily. But we hadn't been in touch for probably 35 years, right?
Exactly, yeah, we lost touch.
Yeah, we actually lost touch, but we came back together, and I'm really excited because, you know, I've had a few health issues or concerns that have come up in recent times, but one of the most important things is exactly what you do. So you actually train people, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
you do exercise and all that, but most importantly, you do the wellness center.
The wellness part.
Yeah, so I want to know a little bit more about that so we can help explain what that is.
100%. So, you know, a wellness has to do with everything, you know, diet, just being healthy, not always just physically looking amazing, but just being healthy all around, right? All around. So, which means if you have an injury, you know, having less pain, if you, you know, weight loss, of course, you know, also just mentally feeling better, which exercise is good for that. It's good for you to, it helps you to feel better, you know, mentally, physically. It's your whole well-being, basically, is what wellness is, pretty much.
So one of the things that I find very compelling is when I go to the gym, I'm not the best at the gym. I kind of force myself to go to the gym. How does exercising correlate to feeling better, literally?
Well, you know, and it depends on, like we had talked, I think prior, like it depends on what you like. When it comes to exercise, you know, everybody's different. Mm-hmm. Some people, they're like, I hate working out.
Right,
I really, I just hate it.
Right here.
So, right, there you go. So then, you know, what do you do then? So if you have to incorporate it into your life because of a medical issue or something that's, you know, hindering you, then of course you want to find something that you like, you know, and that's where you want to turn that into your exercise. You know, if it's mountain climbing, if it's riding a bike, if it's, you know, something, that's what you use, and that's your wellness tool, you know, to keep you healthy and feeling good, and it's something that you like, so it's something you're going to stick to. Because of course you can go to any gym, they're going to say, hey, you're going to have to jump on this box, hey, you're going to have to, you know, do all this crazy stuff. And you're like, no, that's not happening. And so, or if it does, you're not digging it, so you're not going to stick with it. So the main thing is, especially for wellness, to feel better is to find something that you like as far as activity.
And I guess I can connect that to my experience. When I started eating better, one of the things that I did was I understood that I had to eat more vegetables, right? And I wasn't a big vegetable lover.
Veggies are very
You know,
important.
most people aren't. But I really didn't have the understanding that I could incorporate that into my main meal in a way that I don't have to eat a salad and then I have to eat a steak, for example. I can actually make some meat with vegetables. So when you're talking about wellness, you're talking about incorporating all of these things into one in order for you to become better. Get better, become well.
Become well, that's it. Feel better. Feel
wellness for me anyways is something that I feel comes from the mind. Am I correct in saying that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you have to want to do this, you know, you have to want to better yourself, to feel better. And where does that come? It's neurological, of course. It comes first through your brain, for you to say, wow, I'm done with feeling like this. I'm done with feeling sluggish and tired, and you know, I'm done with it, or, you know.
So mentally we have to think that first.
100%, 100%.
And then where do we go from there?
And then that's your life changer right there. So you have to run with it and figure out what's going to get you to this wellness or to this place of feeling better. There's so many options, like we just talked about, changing your diet. Of course, if it's an injury or something that's bugging you, figuring out where you can go for some sort of therapy or something to help you with that injury. Strengthen those areas so that way you have less pain, things like that. Of course, after you've seen your treating physician, you know, there's so many options, which is what I offer. So I'm not just a personal trainer, I'm a medical exercise therapist.
What does that mean?
A medical exercise therapist is like a PT, sort of like a physical therapist. I have the ability to work with patients or clients that come in with a medical limitation or some sort of sports injury or any type of injury, back, knee, shoulder. I've been blessed to have been able to work with doctors and their patients since I was 19 years old.
Wow.
So my whole career, basically. So aside from being a personal trainer, I offer that as well at my place, for sure.
And at your place, when you're actually doing training, what exactly do you give? Do you give them ways to create exercise routines, I guess?
Yes, that they like. So, in the consultation, we go over pretty much what their goals are. Of course, their specific goals, also medical limitations, and what they like to do as far as activity. What is there something they like to do? And I incorporate what they like into the workout.
So let's say I would like to hike. How can you help me? Because obviously we can't hike at your place.
Right.
Or maybe we can, I don't know.
Well, if hiking it was your thing, there's ways to get you stronger and better to hike.
Oh,
because you're
okay.
like, man, I love hiking, but God, man, my
really
knees, I'm not getting up that mountain. There's no, but I would love to do it someday.
Yeah.
Matt, can you show me the tools on how to climb that mountain? 100%. So we work on strengthening those areas where you're weak, so you can actually do it, man, and you love it. You're amazing at it, and that helps you love it even more.
So one of the things that we talk about on this show, obviously, because it's called Creative Thinkers, is the creative aspect of what you do. We actually grew up in a very creative environment, right? When we were younger.
We did.
And
sure.
that specific place that we used to frequent was called the Lost Iguana back in the day.
Man, that was
and
the place.
for whoever can remember that far back, it was a very interesting place.
Right.
How did that specific time frame help you become who you are today?
Because as growing up as a kid, since I was little, I was drawn to certain things, and all of us as humans, we're drawn to certain things, and some are drawn to stuff that's more creative or more artistic or more, it's just part of who you are. It's in your nature, right? And so since I was a little boy, I was always drawn to stuff that most people weren't into,
right.
which made us different. But it was just what my brain would go to, my heart, my soul, whatever, would go to, like alternative music. We were into like all the good bands, all the old stuff, the underground.
I agree,
stuff,
the good bands.
The great, the underground, which was in those times. Like, wow, those are weird, man. Those guys are weird. Their hair is like sticking up to here, and so, or they have, they just look crazy. But that was sort of where, we were just drawn to that. It was sort of what helped us to be creative, right? Just because we were drawn to that creativity that these bands were also projecting.
How did that help you become who you are today?
Just because, I guess, having that already inside me, I guess a sort of creativity and just being drawn to all that, it helped me to achieve goals that I never thought possible, really, just because believing in yourself, number one, right? My mother, she sent us to Catholic school. We went to St. Joseph's. So also being spiritual, I mean, she brought us up, to, have some spirituality, and having that as well helps you to be a strong person and to have a direction, not to just be wandering in your mind like, well, what's next? Having that as well I'm blessed for my mom to have given me and my brother that direction of sending us to Catholic school.
Absolutely, which is awesome. I also went to Catholic school, so I absolutely know
cool.
what you're talking about. I went to St. Pius.
Oh, you went to St. Pius?
Yes,
cool.
we were like competitors.
We were, right?
Yes.
St. Joseph, St. Pius, dude.
That's exactly right. But I absolutely agree with what you're saying. I think the foundation is what is most important. And the foundation comes sometimes from parents, sometimes from peers. Do you have any stories that you can tell us in reference to people who have helped you in any way or inspired you in any way?
Man.
I'm sure there's a lot of them.
Actually, a lot of it was myself, to be honest, just being a strong person. Just because how we looked back then was totally different from how we look now, for sure.
Yes.
Right? My hair was like literally like up to here, right? I think everyone called me Sunshine because my hair was like a sun.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, here comes Sunshine. And so I had to be strong. We had to be strong. especially in high school, dude. Like, you know what I mean? People are like, not very nice in high school, especially if you're not conforming to that certain
yes, that's exactly right.
person that you should be. And in those times, especially in the 80s, like that time frame, that was not cool. I mean, you couldn't walk around like that and not get something for it. You know what I mean? For sure. You couldn't go around.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's like commercial. I mean, you can buy this stuff online. Back then, where did we go get our clothes? Or leave it downtown. The thrift stores is where we got all our cool stuff. Yeah. And the funny thing is that you had to be a strong person, you know what I mean, to protect yourself and your artistic or whatever of being yourself and not having to conform. It was normal for us. For me, it was for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
100%. Sure, I dressed like this, I looked crazy, whatever. My hair was super high, and we're all to all the punk style and all that stuff. But for us, it was normal. So there was no going back. Like you can't. Like, I agree. I can't change everything. Why am I going to change? No, this is me. So
and you have to be yourself. I think that's the most important
being individual. 100%.
Yeah, you have to be yourself. So,
but to be individual, you have to be a strong person. Because
so talk to us about that, because I agree with that statement. Yeah. I agree that if you are the person who's going against the status quo, 100%. You're not the most popular individual.
Oh, no way. Definitely not. So
part of that is creativity, right?
Yeah, because it's in your soul. It was in my soul, so it felt normal to me. It wasn't normal for other people, but for me, what I was doing and the way I dressed or the music I listened to or whatever, that was normal. That was my normal for who I was,
You know what I find interesting is that today a lot of the bands that we used to listen to back in the day are the bands that everybody's like, wow, do you remember those retro people? And back in the day, nobody liked those bands. There was a very select few people that were into those bands.
That liked that music.
And now it's like, that's all I used to listen to back in the day.
And now it's commercial.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how things change.
Yeah.
And the stuff that I wore back then, now you can walk around, man, nobody even blinks an eye, right? Yeah. Now, back then, everyone's like, wow, that guy's weird. But, that was our normal, so there was just no way of conforming.
But I'm glad that you were able to create something out of that, because one of the stories that you told me was your journey from being an individual who was not really kind of part of the status quo or the norm, and then guiding yourself through this, route in order to who you became. And part of that was trying to better yourself. So even at a young age, you were always thinking wellness. Why was it that you were thinking that?
Well,
I know I wasn't thinking that when I was young, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I've always wanted, good things for myself. But back in those times, I was a little chunkier. I was a little heavier, right? Even through high school. I don't know where it happened, because when I was in...
I think you mentioned your brother or something like that.
When I was in Catholic school, when I was in I was thinner, but then, I don't know, I think I had gotten chicken pox and measles or something like that when I was in the 6th grade. Mm-hmm. And then, so I didn't eat for 6 weeks, I don't know, however long. I got super thin because, chicken pox, measles, you're just not in the mood to eat, whatever. That was part of it. But after, when I started getting better, man, I ate everything in sight, man. I was so glad to see food again. And I was like, but I overdid it. So I had gained some weight. And so even in high school, I was kind of chunky. And it was, it's difficult, because I wanted to be thin like everybody else. I wanted to be super thin. I wasn't super big, but I was, chunkier. And after high school, I was like, man, I'm done. And that I would like to change that for sure. And so
was there something that clicked?
My brother did show me how to work out. He kind of got me started on, stuff, how to work out, how to, doing some weights and some weight loss stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I started trying it little by little. I got better at it, and I just have this weird knack of coming up with my own routine. Even way back then, like before I even went to school to get my certification as a personal trainer, I had this knack of coming up with my own routines and stuff.
Yeah, and explain that, because today if I want to come up with a routine, I go on YouTube, right?
Dude, it's too easy, easy. Yeah.
How did you come up with these ideas? Because coming up with that is something that you literally have to think of.
You have to be creative to come up with exercises. And that's what I was talking about even to one of my other trainers the other day. I see it so many times. Like a trainer is there with their client, and they're looking online for exercise. I'm like, she could have paid. She didn't have to pay you. She could have done that on her. If you have a trainer doing that, that's not good. So back when I was, I had just graduated from UTEP, and I had gotten my personal training certification from UTEP. And so after when I started working in the field, and I was working at like Gold's Gym and all that stuff, there was no cell phones. So you could not look up exercise. You had to be creative and come up with your own exercises. That was the deal. Shoot, we didn't even have computers back then.
Right. How did you do that though? Like how does one say, okay, I need to work out my legs. I know that I have to do squats, but how else can I do
There's so many alternatives.
Yeah, like how did you come up with that stuff?
I don't know. It was weird. I had this weird knack, I guess God-given talent that God said, Matt, this is what you're going to do forever. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. And it's great because now I have a business. I don't have a business degree. Like I didn't even finish college. I don't have a business degree. Now 9 years.
Which is amazing.
And 9 years into my work, dude, into my own business. I'm 9 years into my business. I made it through COVID and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, without a business degree. I didn't finish college. Yep.
How important was education for you though?
But it was my creativity that helped me to succeed. And of course God said, okay, you're gonna do this. But I had to do the work, obviously. And I guess it was my own creativity and having that talent or whatever, to be able to do this without a degree and still make a living off of it and a business and be successful, thank God.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to ask you is through business, how difficult is it for you to kind of balance the creative aspect of what you do through personal training and wellness, and then bringing that into the other field, which is completely different, which is the business? Is it a big conflict? Is it trouble? Is it easy?
It's not easy.
Talk to us about your journey.
I started from scratch, dude. So I think my first business was actually in my grandmother's house. Yeah, I started, my grandmother had passed.
You had some dumbbells or what?
Well, I fixed up her house. We did the floors, I opened up the living room. There was some rooms in the back. I've always worked with doctors most of my life, so the wellness part, I wanted to have massage therapists there as well, in case if they needed a massage, which is also therapy, especially for somebody with an injury and stuff. So I wanted to incorporate that into my business as well because it's what I've known, working with all the doctors and stuff. So, and I know how much it is helpful as well at massages and other types of therapies. So I did incorporate that into, it was at my grandma's house, dude. I just fixed the place up, turned it into a gym, had some rooms in the back for the massage therapist. Really? The den was actually my gym.
Really?
The den. Yeah, it was a
really
small,
cool.
very small gym, but it worked. And I had clients come in, and I had to obviously make a business page on Google, right? So I made a business page on Google, and that's been a blessing because people find me through Google pretty much. And ever since way back, it was successful. I kept getting more clients. So I outgrew my grandmother's house and had to find a bigger place.
Wow.
So it's been great, luckily. Thank God for that.
That's actually amazing because one of the things that I have done in my life is I've always tried to expand on my ideas, my learning, what I do. So I wear a lot of hats, right? Like right now I'm interviewing you for this show, but I'm also a professor. So I feel like you're doing kind of the same thing. It's like when I have a business, I have to think about the business aspect, 100%. But I also have to think about the wellness aspect and the exercising aspect.
Right.
And when we think about this, we have to think that must have stemmed from something, right? And I always go back to this whole idea of creativity. I feel like creativity is one of these things that helps us move forward or leap forward, right?
Amazing, yeah.
How in the world did you allow yourself, or what was the thought process of coming up with your gym? Because you could have just been an assistant for a doctor or done something else.
Forever.
Yeah. What kind of gave you what was the catalyst to get into that? Yeah. Was it that you now had a venue through your grandmother's house?
Pretty much.
Was it really?
Yeah. Because I had clients wanting me to train them, and I was like, man, if I only had a place. And so, because I would train them sometimes outdoors, and outside and stuff like that. But you can't always do outside.
And
Especially,
this was all through Google already.
yeah, this was even before I even started my business.
Google. So you
my
already
Google
had
business.
these clients that were asking you to train them,
That
but
I
you
met.
didn't really have a place to train them.
Exactly. So finally, because before I used to work at the YWCA, and I was a trainer there. So even there, I met people that were like, man, I want to follow you if you move, and you've totally changed my, everything. So and through that, I also met clients, and they stuck with me forever, man. Yeah, for sure. So going to my grandmother's house, and now going to the new place, the bigger place that I have on Airport Road.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that towards the end of the show. Can you give us some examples of how you've helped people?
Oh,
Because you don't just do exercises. You showed me like a red light or something, or an ultraviolet light sauna or something.
Oh, we have an infrared sauna.
Yeah,
as
what
well,
exactly
sure.
is all of that? Because that sounds totally foreign to me.
Yeah, that's wellness too. Infrared sauna is an infrared light that penetrates through the tissue, even to your joints. I mean, it's good for your skin. It's good superficially, but it's good because it goes internally, even up to the joints. So people with fibromyalgia, with arthritis, that's suffer from arthritic pain, this sauna, it heats up your joints internally.
Oh, wow.
So you walk out like you had an internal heating pad. It's
Really?
kind of amazing, yeah. It's a trip, it's great. And I have a lot of older clients that come specifically to use that sauna, and they swear by it, so I know it works for sure.
How long does that last?
They come in with the walker, and then they leave their walker here. And I'm like, oh wait, you forgot your walker. She's like, yeah, that's how good I feel.
I'll pick
So
it up
I'm like,
next
cheers.
week.
Yeah. And then I stretch them on the table because, stretching as well is part of, that with arthritis, it's stiffness, right? Stiff inflammation in the joints. And so by my stretching, it helps loosen up the joint and make it more flexible. And then also with the sauna, it heats up the joints. They come out like brand new. It's pretty great. It's a pretty great combination for sure.
That's actually inspiring, because I remember when we were kids, we didn't know what we wanted to do, right?
No, had no idea.
We just wanted to have a good time and enjoy life.
Enjoying the clubs. And
I would have never thought I was going to be
partying
sitting here right now interviewing you. I would have never thought I was going to be a professor at any point.
For sure.
Which I think is very interesting, because one of the other things that you talked about is how you thank your mom for all the things that she did, and having that kind of inspiration be part of allowing you to grow. And the question that I have for you is, the way that your mom thought, did that help you grow as an individual? Did she give you that
100%.
freedom?
Oh, 100% for sure.
Why was that so important?
She was a tough Hispanic lady, my mother. She was, but short, like 4'11", maybe, max 4'11".
So you're so
Chiquita
tall,
pero picosa,
See,
you know what I mean? That
that's
was
what
my
they
mom.
say.
Right? But she was such an inspiration just because she was a strong woman. In growing up, of course, she was married to my father. My father was not a nice guy, so he was abusive and whatever. And so I saw that. I was 5 years old, and I saw it. And so my mother, just being a strong Hispanic woman, she is like, okay, that's enough. Bye-bye. And and I really appreciate that she did that. I was with her 100%. Even though that was my father, I was like, it's okay. I'm not gonna miss you so much because you were bad to my mother. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
So I really, and my mother, in the Hispanic culture, a lot of times Hispanic mothers say, no, we gotta stay together for the family.
Yeah.
And so they'll take the abuse and stuff. Not my mom, she's like, your stuff's out on the street, you can, and so, but I really appreciate that, and she taught me strength. I mean, that strength, my mother didn't graduate from high school. She didn't even finish her grade school because she comes from the old times. She lived with my grandmother. They had a ranch up in Chihuahua somewhere, and so she had to stay home and take care of things. So she never finished her education. And so it was tough for her to, because my mother was a housewife, We were going to St. Joseph, me and my brother. And when my dad left, because he was the bread maker, so it was a risky thing for her to say, see ya, right? Because now she had me and my brother, just the three of us. And still we made it. She helped us make it. She worked at St. Joseph in order to keep us in.
No way, really?
Yeah, she worked.
Wow.
She did whatever she could, because it was expensive, right? Uniforms, tuition, the whole thing.
Yeah.
But she did whatever she could to keep us in Catholic school.
So I can imagine that
And it was
really
tough.
kind of helped you
tough.
become what you've done.
For
Like
sure.
if my mom could do it,
100%.
I think that I can do it, right?
Yeah, she's strong, man. She did it.
Which is an
helped us.
inspiration, I think.
Yeah, definitely, it's great.
Yeah, she sounds like an amazing woman.
Yeah.
One of the things that I always try to ask my guests is, are there any things that you could tell us that can inspire individuals? Anything creative, anything that will help them better their lives? Do you have any advice for us?
Definitely to, take care of yourself, your health. If you have health issues, take care of them. There's so many options, and there's other options than just going straight to the doctor. Or if you've been to the doctor, there's other alternatives, as far as like alternative medicine, which is what we offer.
That exactly?
A chiropractor is alternative medicine because
I didn't know
they
that.
don't give medication. Chiropractors don't, they cannot get prescriptions for medication. We offer the alternative medicine, which is therapy, right?
Okay.
The adjustment, and what I did was like stretch the patient, give them exercises for strengthening their weak areas, stuff like that is alternative medicine. My sauna is alternative medicine, all that stuff. There's so many options than just taking a pill. Which will, has side effects and then other stuff, which, of course, this is what doctors learn. They learn to give medication. This is what they go to school for. But there's this other side of healthcare now, which is alternative medicine, which is what we offer.
That's beautiful. And if somebody wants to get a hold of you, or you can tell us where your gym is located.
For sure. It's at 6400 Airport Road.
Okay.
It's right around the corner from the airport, literally right around the corner.
And it is called?
And it's Matt's Personal Training and Wellness Center.
Okay.
And the phone number is 915-345-3189.
Well, Matt, I wanted to thank you for taking the time out to talk to us, because one of the things that I try to do through my show is I try to allow people to get to know local people, individuals that do different things, because in my opinion, one of the most important things is creativity, and how creativity is incorporated into everyday environments, into everyday life. So I wanted to thank you for taking the time out to come to talk to us a little bit about what you do and how you grew up and all the things that were incorporated into your life.
Thank you, Miguel, for having me.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
It's been my pleasure.
For sure.
All right. Thank you very much. And I want to thank you guys for joining us once again. My name is Miguel Valenzuela. And if you guys need to get a hold of me, my email is mvalen31@epcc.edu. And again, we're always going to bring you special guests every time you see the show. So please come and join us again. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys next time.